Hey, good morning, everyone. Shades here. It's Saturday, the 21st of March, and this is one of my longer distance training hikes for my upcoming 2026 Pacific Crest Trail Hike, which I just printed up my permit the other day. So I'm about 12 to 13 days away from starting my hike. So today's hike's a little different. So what I've been doing is I've been hiking around the neighborhoods and through kind of a local forest area. Today's hike is actually on the Appalachian Trail. So I'm doing about a 14-mile hike today, and it's all going to be on the Appalachian Trail. This is just north of Front Royal. So I'm pretty excited about this. I've hiked this area a couple different times, but I've got a fully loaded pack. So exactly what I'm going to show up with at the southern terminus at Campo on the 8th of April. That's my start date, the 8th of April. This is my exact pack. So my base weight is 17 pounds. And then when I add in the consumables, the food, the water, medication, some of my medical stuff, I come in at right around 28 pounds. So a little heavy, but it is what it is. I think the pack, this Durston Kakwa 55 pack, the way it rides, I think the weight will be good. I'll get used to it. But today's hike has got a little bit over 1,200 feet of elevation. So that'll be a good test with a fully loaded pack. The weather looks beautiful. So let me pan this around and let you see. Here again, this is in Linden, Virginia, just north of Front Royal, and we're going to be jumping on the AT. The AT actually goes right through this area off of Tucker's Lane. I've got to cross this road without killing myself. And there's the AT. So if you're not familiar with the AT, I know I'm going to be doing a Pacific Crest Trail hike, and these are my training hikes to get ready for it. But if you're not familiar with the AT is on the East Coast, and it runs from Georgia to Maine. A big difference between the AT and the PCT is the AT has shelters and kind of designated campsites that are located about every 8 to 15 miles. There's over 250 shelters on the AT, and those shelters are basically just a three wall with a roof lean-to, and that's where people stay. At most of the shelters, there's a privy, to use the bathroom. And then there's normally a creek nearby, and also stuff like a bear pole to be able to hang your food bags. The AT, especially in the Shenandoah area, which is where I'm at right now, there are bears. There are black bears, and so you've got to be really careful about your food and your food hangs and stuff like that. Today, we're going to be hiking to the Jim and Molly Denton shelter. So I'll hike out there, and then I'll hike back. I'll do a little bit more hiking to complete my training hike, and I'll try to film as much as I can. It's a beautiful day. Sunrise just happened a little bit ago. It's It's just now about 8 o'clock in the morning. Sunset happened within the last 30-40 minutes ago. Here again, I'm hiking with my fully loaded out pack. So my Durston Kakwa 55 liter pack. I've got about 27 to 28 pounds fully loaded. This is what I'm going to show up with at the southern terminus. On 8 April, I start my hike. This hike today, the elevation gain is over 1,000 feet. I'm in some of that now. I like this section, so it's kind of familiar with leaving out of the southern terminus. Down there in Campo, we're at the, I think it's the 3 or 4 mile point. You cross a railroad track. Well, here we're crossing a railroad track. This is an active railroad track. All right, I'm going to put the camera away and do some hiking. As I continue to hike up, hiking up a pretty good elevation. I don't know if you can tell in the picture, in the video, the trail. Or just I-66 is just over there in the distance. That's the car noise that you're hearing. And you can see the white blazes on the tree, marking the path for the AT. When you see a double stripe like this, that means you're turning. You can see the trail that I just came up. Continuing to climb. The climb's just over 1,000 feet. So today, I'm also using my new wireless wind mic. I bought those on Amazon. They come 2 to a package. So I've got a spare, but I plan to use these as I videotape and blog on a daily basis on the PCT. Hopefully the sound quality will be good. You're probably hearing me huffing and puffing. The sun just peeking out up over there, over the trees. Still in the trees. It's only been sunrise for a little bit over an hour now. All right, I'm about a quarter of the way up, making decent time. I'm trying to take some videos and trying to enjoy it. Pack feels good, body feels good. I bought another one of those knee braces, so I've got a brace for each knee, and I'm mainly, it's not a brace, it's really just a sleeve, and I'm mainly just using those to be to help with the downhills, to help with the impact on the downhills. It's not really windy today, so this new wireless wind protection mic, I don't know how that's going to do today. Hopefully the sound is good. So for my hydration, I'm just using smart water bottles. So I will carry 2 1-liter water bottles, and then I'll carry 1 3/4 milliliter in the actual shoulder harness. And what I've done is I've bought some tubing, so I don't even have to take the water bottle out of the harness, so I can make sure I'm drinking. All right, I'm continuing to make good time. Everything feels good. So with this 28 pound load in my pack, it feels really good. I know it'll get lighter. I know my pack will definitely get lighter as I go. But I've really pared it down as much as I can. I mean, I have one pair of hiking shorts and one long pants, one long shirt, one short sleeve shirt, and I've really pared it down. I've got a thing of clothes to sleep in, kind of some thermals. I've got a puffy. I'm not bringing a rain jacket. I'm bringing a poncho. So I've really minimized my my gear. You know, my shelter is less than 2 pounds. My pack's less than 2 pounds. I've got a light mattress, a light quilt. My quilt's right around 2 pounds, so my base weight is 17 pounds. But I've added 11, almost 12 pounds, or 10, almost 11 pounds with food and water. And then medication. And oh, by the way, I'm carrying, I forgot to mention this, but this is in that one weight. I'm carrying almost 2 pounds worth of those wristbands that I had made that I'll be giving out, so those will be going down. This is a nice little camping spot over here. So, kind of a stealth camping area, if you will. They've so this is just off the trail, but this is a perfect little area to camp. Got a fire pit in here. Got some good views. There's at least, you know, 3 or 4 places to put tents. So here again, this is north of Front Royal. This is before you get, this is probably 6 or 7 miles before the Manassas Gap shelter. So this is yeah, this is really nice. I may have to come back here and camp one day. Really nice. Yeah, that's definitely a nice little site. Now, you're going to hear the traffic from I-66 all day, but you know, depending on how tired you are and if you got headphones, you'll be fine. Yeah, I would say I'm about halfway up now. So I'll take I'll do a reading on the altimeter and see how high it is up. And then I'll post down at the bottom when I get back down there this afternoon. There's the white blazes. I'll tell you, on the AT, it is really marked well with those white blazes, and then there's different color blazes. You know, as you're leaving the trail to go to town or go to hostels, there's blue blazes, yellow blazes, but the AT is really well marked. You know, the PCT clearly has signs. But I think they're more few and far between. These white blazes that you see on the AT, I mean, at times they're, you know, 100 feet apart. They're everywhere. And then the other thing I like about the blazes, in some areas, they have some reflective tape on them So if you're hiking, you know, in the dark, or you get some shine off it from your headlamp. So that makes it really nice. All right, little rocky uphill area right here. The farther you get away from I-66, the less you're hearing that traffic noise. You can already pick up the next white blaze up there. There's the sun just peeking up over the top of this hill. I like adding this hose to the water. It just makes it really easy. The hose will fit down the smart water bottle, you know, quick drink thing. I just cut it in length to go down to the bottom of the 3/4 liter bottle, and then leave, you know, 4 or 5 inches at the top. I mean, here again, pretty easy. Makes it easy to get a drink. Makes it easy to keep drinking. I think that becomes a problem pretty quick for a lot of people, is just not getting properly hydrated. Yeah, the other thing that's interesting about the Appalachian Trail, the AT, is that these shelters, those 250 shelters I talked about that are basically every 8 to 15 miles where you can stay. There's tent sites. There's a shelter that normally will sleep, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 people. But those shelters in this trail are maintained by members of the different hiking clubs in the actual area. So that's kind of cool that, you know, you got volunteers from those hiking clubs that hike these trails that come out here and volunteer and do that. looking back in the direction that I've came. There's the sun still trying to peek up over the hill. Got a little switch back here. Really a beautiful day out here. It's probably in the low 50s by now. It feels fine. It feels good. I got a pair of shorts on and my long sleeve hiking shirt with the with the built-in sun hoodie. There's looking back down towards where I started. You can see that I'm almost level with that hill. Still got some ways to go here. That was a pretty good uphill. Short distance. That was a pretty good climb. And I'm not done yet. The nice thing on the way back, most of this will be downhill. And I'm wearing my knee braces, knee sleeves, for those downhills, just to see how things go. Yeah, that's a pretty good little climb. I'm still climbing. Still climbing. Getting ready to go through this rocky area. You can see the blazes are actually painted. They're normally on the tree, but here they're painted on the slabs of stone here to make sure you stay on the trail. Pretty cool. I don't think any of the northbound AT hikers have reached this area yet. I mean, most people, I mean, there's a few early people that start at the beginning of the year, but I think most people start in the March time frame, similar to the PCT. Most people start in that March-April time frame. Virginia is the longest section of the AT, so it's normally probably in the June, July time frame before the bubble really reaches here. There's probably a few people that reach this area early. I think most of what you'll see this early is day hikers or maybe section hikers. I'm getting close. I'm getting close to being to the top. It's been a pretty good climb. You can see some of the farmhouses out in the distance as you get here towards the top. This is some of the views that you get to enjoy. Some really nice farmhouses out there in the distance. Ouch. I stepped on a kind of a loose rock there, and it kind of rolled my ankle a little bit, but it feels okay. All right, I've made it to the top. There's a once you get to the top up here, after a little bit, there's kind of an open field area. You go through some wooded trees, but then there's an open field area up here a little bit, and there's a kind of a bench there and some views. I want to check and see. I'll wait till I get up to the top, the very top up here. It looks like there's a little bit more climbing. I want to check the elevation and see. Going through a little wooded area like this, I like to make a little bit of noise. I don't want to come upon anything and scare it. I'm sure there's some bears moving around. It's early. Haven't seen any tracks. Haven't smelled anything, but I'll keep an eye out. I haven't seen any scat. All right, so this is where, so definitely at the top. I want to check the elevation real quick. We're getting ready to go through that one area that's open. Okay, so 1,469 feet is where we're at now above sea level. So I'll take another reading when I get down to the bottom, but I think we were right around, 380, but I'll take a look at that. So just did a probably a little bit over 1,000 feet of elevation climb, which was nice. It was good, steady climb, no major problems. So what ends up happening is you lose some of that. So as you go through this valley coming up here ahead, and then there's a water crossing, and as you're moving towards the Jim and Molly Denton shelter, you'll probably lose, I don't know, probably 600 or 700 feet of elevation, and then you'll have to climb that back on the way back. So get a little opportunity of doing some climbing. I'm looking at some tracks right now. Those are canine, probably just someone with their dog, but coyotes do kind of run through this area as well, but that was probably just someone had been on the trail walking their dog. Okay, so here's that open area that I was talking about. So this is kind of an open meadow that you go through. Kind of cool. Looks like they've been through here with a tractor recently and really cleaned this all up. So this is really nice. Last time I was through here, this was probably waist high, and I came through here and it was getting kind of late in the evening, but it looks good now. Yeah, so those are Those are canine prints, and it's fairly recent. We've had some rain in here, and I don't see a whole lot of human tracks. So, well, no, there's someone's shoe print. So yeah, most likely that's just a canine print. That's one of my hobbies too. As I'm hiking, I like to kind of look at the prints. Pretty good print there. Yeah, and I see tread through here, people walking. So I'm almost sure that's someone walking with their dog. But anyway, so this is that one area, that open meadow area, and then you can just see in the distance there. You see if I can kind of zoom in a little bit. There's the bench up there. We'll pass that bench here in a couple of minutes. And then, like I said before, as you go through this area, you will lose a little bit of elevation going down into this other valley where there's a couple farm homes in that area. Absolutely beautiful day. I mean, it feels right now like it's probably in the high 50s. I can take a look here in a second and see what it says temperature wise when I get up here near the bench. But again, this is kind of a this is one of my training hikes, but this is really kind of a dry rehearsal, or a full rehearsal, if you will. This is all the weight that I'm going to be carrying. My backpack is fully loaded. Oh, there's a deer track. That could be a coyote track. I'm seeing more canine prints than I'm seeing people prints, and the people prints look a little bit older, and where the canine prints that are solo look fresh. So that's probably a coyote. I see them all the time in and around my neighborhood at night. Sometimes when I'm pulling the trash out at the end of the street, I can catch a couple of them in the distance in the street lights. I live in a very wooded area, on a few acres, so they're passing through all the time. There's some scat. I would say that's coyote. A lot of hair in it. Pretty fresh. Yeah, I would say most likely that was a coyote going down that trail, following the trail. This is a nice thing. I mean, here you're hiking, so here's some feet, some shoe prints. Pretty big shoe print, and that's probably yesterday. Someone came through here yesterday, maybe last night. But it's nice to have this bench, you know, a nice little bench where you can take a pack off break and just relax. I mean, there's front and back sides, so there's enough room for a couple people to sit. You can sit there and kind of have a little snack or something. You've got a view because you can see the top of those mountains where there's some farm homes in the distance. You can still hear I-66. You know, we pretty much parallel I-66 the whole time. So it's 54 now. When I started, it was like 43. So it's warmed up. So nice, beautiful. Yeah, I'm getting a lot more canine prints. And there's, you know, human tracks. Someone with a fairly large foot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say that's probably say that most of these are a person walking a large dog, probably a 50 to 70 pound dog. Pretty good prints. All right, so we're out of that meadow area, and now we go back into a little bit of a wooded area, and then there's some downhill, and then there's we'll go into some farm area, farmhouses, a farm area, and we'll cross a road, and then we'll cross a water area, and we'll be to the Jim and Molly Denton shelter. So making good time. This is a good hike. I'm enjoying it. Back inside the green tunnel. The big hawk up there flying around. I thought I heard him. Yeah, this really is a beautiful hike. The AT's got some really nice trails, really some nice areas to hike. It's I think it's a little bit more demanding in some areas as far as its ups and downs. It doesn't have, you know, a lot of nice, easy, granular switchbacks. I'm hoping the PCT trail is a little bit more forgiving in that area. There's some parts of the AT that, you know, when you're going up over a mountain, you're going up over a mountain. I mean, you're just, I'm not saying straight up and straight down, but it's less of the you know, the back and forth and less of the easier outs. So I'm hoping the PCT's got its own challenges with weather and snow and mountains, and you know, I'm not saying one's better or easier than the other, but I think the other thing that's nice about the AT is that it passes through a lot of cities. So, you know, your resupply and your food and stuff like that, I think it's a little easier. And then certainly water. I mean, the PCT, you have some really long water carries, and when you've got a heat wave like's going on right now out there in San Diego and the LA area, that can be pretty rough. Following along a few people that are out there on the trail right now, and I mean, it's been in the 90s, and they've been having 15 and 20 mile an hour, or 15 and 20 mile water carries. So that's pretty tough. You know, here on the AT, you know, you'll have an occasional longer water carry, but you don't have to carry 3 to 5 liters of water. I mean, you can get away easily with 1, maybe 2 liters of water. All right, seeing some movement ahead. I think it's squirrels. Yep, looks like a bunch of squirrels crossing the road, crossing the trail. A little bit of a downhill now. I'll get to enjoy that as a uphill on the way back. So is the trail. There hasn't been anybody through here today yet. I'm the one clearing the spiderweb path. I've cleared probably, I don't know, half a dozen or more spiderwebs, so there hasn't actually been anybody through here yet today. That's why I think those tracks we saw were probably yesterday. We've had some rain through here, so yeah, they were probably yesterday. Someone coming through here, you know, yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. All right, there's some bear scat, and that's pretty fresh. If you can see that, yeah, that's pretty fresh, and that's definitely bear scat. All right, I'll have to keep an eye out. I had to do some limbo there. I should have filmed that. Yeah, that was definitely some fairly fresh bear scat, and I haven't seen a bear print, but I'm almost sure that was bear scat, and it was fresh. So I'm kind of trying to make some noise as I come through this wooded area. I don't want to surprise a bear sow and her cubs. That is not a place you want to be. You know, in another month or so, this whole area will be really covered in leaves and stuff. So this is all part of that green tunnel area that you hear a lot of people talk about. You know, when you're on the AT, you're not getting hit with as much direct sun as the PCT, but it's humid because you're inside this green tunnel. Oh, here comes someone. Someone hiking up this way. All right, now, those are the first people that I saw on the trail. They said they stayed at the Jim and Molly Denton shelter last night. That's nice, nice family. All right, so I'm through most of the heavier wooded areas. So, but the problem is now I'm doing all this downhill, and I'll get to see this again on the way back, which is fine. I need this type of training. So, looked like the max elevation that we got to was just over 1,400 feet. So it's like 1,426. I took a picture of it, and then when I get to the Jim and Molly Denton shelter, I'll take a look again. And then when I get back to my vehicle, I'll take a look and see where I started and what the up and down, and see what the total elevation gain was for the day. But it's just a beautiful day. I mean, you couldn't ask for a nicer day. It's in the 50s. It's not supposed to get up to much over 60 degrees, 63, 65 degrees today. So it's perfect hiking weather. I know everybody on the PCT right now is hiking in 80s and 90s. I wish there was a way I could get acclimated to it a little bit more, but it is what it is. I've been hiking in and around my house, and in teens and 20s and 30s in snow. So you got to do what you got to do. I think I've put in the mileage. Obviously I could do a lot more, but I think I've done good mileage. I think my problem's going to be the heat, then the long water carry. So my plan for that is to try to stick with the 10 before 10 plan. Try to get up early in the morning and try to hike 10 miles before 10 o'clock. So, get up 5 o'clock in the morning, get on the trail, do a good 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours on the trail, and get that 10 miles in, and then, stop someplace in the shade, have a second breakfast, and just kind of relax. And depending on the temperature, I mean, if the temperature's in the 90s, I'll do that. But depending on the temperatures, sit there and take long breaks, siestas, and maybe get back on the trail later on in the afternoon, early evening time frame, and do some more mileage. But I think to start, I don't want to be above 15 miles a day. I want to be in that 10, 12, 15 max. Here's a good downhill. So here's some of those farmhouses too that you can see in the distance. See if I can kind of expand the. And then we've got some more people coming up behind me. All right, so this is bringing you down into the next valley, and then I get to climb out of this, but this brings you down into some farm areas and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. So I've seen a couple people on the trail now. Two day hikers just passed me, and then going the other direction was two trail maintainers from one of the local trail clubs. They had a chainsaw in hand, and the tree that I just did the limbo under, they're going to cut that tree. So when I come back, I won't have to do the limbo. I'm glad I didn't film it. It was pretty ugly. All right, well, coming down through this little valley, and then there's a fence and a little road, and then a small water crossing ahead. It's normally fairly easy. A couple rock hops and stuff, but nice area through here. So you're never really too far in the wilderness. This is there's a couple farm homes right up here. There's a bus stop up here where kids get on and off. I've seen them as I've come through here before during the bus stop. Yeah, this is just a beautiful area. And then, I mean, what a gorgeous day to be out here today. I mean, how fortunate, how blessed am I to be out here today enjoying this beautiful trail. That's really well maintained. So those two gentlemen that were walking out there, they were going out there to cut that one tree and clean up a couple things. So you can't ask for anything better than that. It's a pretty good sized oak tree. I've seen a number of hawks flying around. I just haven't been able to get one on video. I think when I get to Jim and Molly Denton shelter, I think I'm going to mix up a batch of Gatorade type mix. Get a little bit of there was some deer track. That's a pretty good sized deer. Yeah, some deer track through here. I thought I saw a couple hoof prints, and yeah, that's old. Looks like it's been there for a few days. All right, so here's a little fence that you cross through someone's property. There's farmhouses in the distance there. You cross this area, you have to cross the road and then go up a little bit and then jump back on the trail, and then shortly after you pass that, there will be a little water area. This is probably some of the runoff to go there. You walk up this road just for a tiny bit. You can see the white blaze mark, where the trail starts again. They just paved this road probably within the last 2 or 3 months. This was definitely not this nice the last time I walked through here. All right, and now we're back on the trail. Very nice. Yeah, last time I came through here, this little small water crossing was easy to get across. It had some stones, some stepping stones that you were able to get right across. I guess maybe it was a few years ago when I came here, and the water was probably, I don't know, knee deep. So it was definitely a different story, but I haven't seen that in years. It's just been, a steady flow of water, and you've been able to get across with, the stepping stones that are there. I'm not sure what that print is. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. I'm not sure what that is. I got some thoughts, but I'm not sure. That had 4 toes and then a pad. Definitely too big to be a raccoon or possum. That I'm not sure what that was. I'll have to look that up in my book. I didn't see any larger adult, so there's a deer hoof print right there. Yeah, there's some more. So there's been some deer kind of walking through here. I don't know what that one print was. I can't wait to look that up in my book. I mean, that might have been a bobcat. I don't think so. I don't think bobcat or I don't know what it was. I really like doing that as I'm on the trail, especially when the trail's a little bit wet like this. You really get a chance to actually see some some marks. Actually get a chance to see some prints. You know, the hoof prints are fairly easy. You know, if you see them in here, they're deer. Maybe some up near, farther up north, some larger hoof prints could be moose or could be elk, but here it's deer. And then some of the other prints, I mean, obviously we have fox, we have bobcats, we have fox. We don't have mountain lions or anything like that. You know, we have cougars, or not cougars, coyotes, and we had a hybrid of a wolf up here. That was small. I'm gonna say that was, yeah, I'm gonna have to look up in my book. I'm not sure. If you have any comments on what you thought it was, definitely leave a comment in the notes. I haven't seen that same print again. All right, so we're just getting ready to go past this water crossing. It looks like the water's moving through here pretty good, but you got a good series of rocks that you can step on. So, but the water's flowing really nice. You got a good flow of water, no real problem there. You got plenty of water in this area. All right, so there's the shelter, and then back here is the privy. So this is typically a sawdust type privy, you know, where you do your business, and then you can throw some sawdust in there. All right, so this is the turn off for the Jim and Molly Denton shelter. So right now we're going southbound on the AT. There's the AT north and south marker, but the Jim and Molly Denton shelter's up here, and then there's a spring down there to the left. So let's go check out the shelter. I think there's a bunch of people here. I had a group of about 15 pass me. So I think there's going to be a pretty good amount of people here, unless they kept going. So the shelter is just right off the trail. There's a shelter. There's like a pavilion area with picnic tables. There's even a shower, horseshoes. There's a privy. I'll show you all that. Sounds like they're yelling for a bear. Sounds like the group that went ahead of me, the group of 15, has seen a bear. Okay, so this is the Jim and Molly Denton shelter. And here again, on the AT has a series of shelters. They have 250 shelters, and you know, these are basically 3-wall lean-tos with a roof. This is a really nice one. This one's been here for a while. This is maintained by one of the trail clubs, but it's got a nice bench. It has horseshoes, and then you can see the bear pole to be able to hang your food bags. And then back in there, that's the shower. So, you know, typically in one of these, in one of these shelters, you can probably sleep, you know, maybe as many as 10 people. Here's the temperature right now. It looks like it's 64, 65 degrees, but you can typically sleep, you know, 6 to 10 people. Some shelters are a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller, but you can definitely sleep a number of people in there. And then there's plenty of space to be able to also pitch a tent. So you've got plenty of room to do that as well. I thought I heard a group yelling, "Hey, bear." I still hear some people in the distance. This is the pavilion area where you've got some room to eat. Oh, someone left their pot here, their cooking pot, or their, I guess, to boil the water, maybe to make some coffee. You know, you walk up this road just for a tiny bit. You can see the white blaze mark, you know, where the trail starts again. They just paved this road probably within the last 2 or 3 months. This was definitely not this nice the last time I walked through here. All right, and now we're back on the trail. Very nice. Yeah, last time I came through here, this little small water crossing was easy to get across. It had some stones, some stepping stones that you're able to get right across. I guess maybe it was a few years ago when I came here, and the water was probably, I don't know, knee deep. So it was definitely a different story, but I haven't seen that in years. It's just been, you know, a steady flow of water, and you've been able to get across with, you know, the stepping stones that are there. I'm not sure what that print is. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. I'm not sure what that is. I got some thoughts, but I'm not sure. That had 4 toes and then a pad. Definitely too big to be a raccoon or possum. That yeah, I'm not sure what that was. I'll have to look that up in my book. I didn't see any larger adult, so there's a deer hoof print right there. Yeah, there's some more. So there's been some deer kind of walking through here. I don't know what that one print was. I can't wait to look that up in my book. I mean, that might have been a bobcat. I don't think so. I don't think bobcat or I don't know. I don't know what it was. I really like doing that as I'm on the trail, especially when the trail's a little bit wet like this. You really get a chance to actually see some some marks. Actually get a chance to see some prints. You know, the hoof prints are fairly easy. You know, if you see them in here, they're deer. Maybe some up near, farther up north, some larger hoof prints could be moose or could be elk, but here it's deer. And then some of the other prints, I mean, obviously we have fox, we have bobcats, we have fox. We don't have mountain lions or anything like that. You know, we have cougars, or not cougars, coyotes, and we had a hybrid of a wolf up here. That was small. I'm gonna say that was, yeah, I'm gonna have to look up in my book. I'm not sure. If you have any comments on what you thought it was, definitely leave a comment in the notes. I haven't seen that same print again. All right, so we're just getting ready to go past this water crossing. It looks like the water's moving through here pretty good, but you got a good series of rocks that you can step on. So, but the water's flowing really nice. You got a good flow of water, no real problem there. You got plenty of water in this area. All right, so this is the turnoff for the Jim and Molly Denton shelter. So right now we're going southbound on the AT. There's the AT north and south marker, but the Jim and Molly Denton shelter's up here, and then there's a spring down there to the left. So let's go check out the shelter. I think there's a bunch of people here. I had a group of about 15 pass me. So I think there's going to be a pretty good amount of people here, unless they kept going. So the shelter is just right off the trail. There's a shelter. There's like a pavilion area with picnic tables. There's even a shower, horseshoes. There's a privy. I'll show you all that. Sounds like they're yelling for a bear. Sounds like the group that went ahead of me, the group of 15, has seen a bear. Okay, so this is the Jim and Molly Denton shelter, and here again on the AT has a series of shelters. They have 250 shelters, and you know, these are basically 3-wall lean-tos with a roof. This is a really nice one. This one's been here for a while. This is maintained by one of the trail clubs, but it's got a nice bench. It has horseshoes, and then you can see the bear pole to be able to hang your food bags, and then back in there, that's the shower. So, you know, typically in one of these in one of these shelters, you can probably sleep you know, maybe as many as 10 people. Here's the temperature right now. It looks like it's 64, 65 degrees, but you can typically sleep, you know, 6 to 10 people. Some shelters are a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller, but you can definitely sleep a number of people in there. And then there's plenty of space to be able to also pitch a tent. So you've got plenty of room to do that as well. I thought I heard a group yelling, "Hey, bear." I still hear some people in the distance. This is the pavilion area where you've got some room to eat. Oh, someone left their pot here, their cooking pot, or their, I guess, to boil the water, maybe to make some coffee.